Corey's starting to take off the fuel rail here. So we're gonna unplug the injectors here, and then we got this. So what we got was, get this out of the way here. Let's see here. So this is the fuel pressure regulator right here. We need to put some Teflon tape on the bottom right here. So this is gonna fit on the fuel rail. So we got that. This is not the new IAC. This is one from eBay and it sucks. And we got a 16-foot data log cable. So for the Honda. This is the fuel line right here. So this one's going to be plugged into the banjo bolt right there to the fuel pump. And then this is going to be plugging into the fuel rail. So that's one part there. Let me see where the gauge is at. Where's the gauge at? Is it over here? Or is it already on there? Let me try to get this stuff off of here first. All right, there you go. So this is the fuel rail right here. This is the fuel gauge. So this is going to be sitting like this. So it sits in there like that. So we'll have our fuel rail, and then our fuel pressure regulator will go there. And then our fuel line will go here. So that'll connect to there. We got our O-rings and a bunch of stuff. And we got some quick disconnects, some quick connectors for the D14 wire for the wideband to the ECU. So we'll be able to do some data logging with this. So once I get this hooked up, we calibrated the wideband to the gauge. So we're done with that. So that worked out. The other day I was driving it and the idle just kept going down, up and down, up and down, and just sitting at a light. So yeah, so the IACV, we bought a new one. It's supposed to be here any minute now. We're gonna go pick it up and install that. We have some the 410 injectors right in here. So we got the connectors, we got the top hats, so we got the red ones, and then we have the blue ones. So I don't know which ones we're going to use yet, but these will plug in. I'm gonna have to cut this connector off because this connector don't fit. But on the other ones, the connector fit here but didn't fit here. So I'd rather have them fit here than fit on the actual fuel rail. So we're gonna have to cut the connectors right here, right there, right there, and right there, and then splice these in with this wire thing right here after we heat shrink them and solder them, and then we'll do that. So we'll be able to get these in. So that'll be the next thing. I got to figure out the TPS issue. This one right there, the one that we have on back here, is it's only giving me a negative reading of 0.60. which is supposed to be 0.45, 0.50, and then 5.0, only getting 93%. We did the Type R throttle cable right there. So that's the Type R throttle cable with the bracket right there. So that'll fit a lot better. You see how much better we're getting of throttle now. So, and actually the gas pedal's a lot better. So Corey said it was a lot better. So got to figure out that issue too. But we're getting there. We're trying to get it going. So you're gonna have fuel come out of there, so you need to get something to put down there. Okay, so we got the fuel rail in. We ran the 6AN line right there, fuel filter, ran it down underneath so it's not going over top of the cold air intake anymore, like that. The last one, it ran over top. So we got it into here, and then we got it ran down. I had to cut off the injectors and splice them up, so that's why they're taped right now, but we're gonna get one of those plastic things right there to wire covers and try to cover it up at least to the end, so you'll just see the part go into there. But we got the RDX injectors in there, the 410 cc's with the fuel caps, the top hats right there for this injector size. We got the fuel pump fuel regulator, adjustable fuel regulator on there, fuel pressure regulator, and then we got the fuel pressure gauge. We found a black thing for that, so we're good. We got the Type R cable bracket with the 70mm throttle body. So all I have to do next is do the TPS sensor. So I have to take that off of there, and then right there you can see that I cut the red wire right there on the red wire, so I can actually hook up my little alligator clip up to it, and then I can hook it to the battery and we can test that. So I need to change that because I'm on the lowest setting. You can see I'm on the lowest setting right there, and I'm only getting like 0.60 volts. So that's a little too high for that. It's supposed to be 4.5 to 5.0. Everything else looks good. We started it up last night. We had a little leak from here, so we had to tighten it up. And then right over here, we had a little leak from over here, so we had to we used the washer right there so we could get a little bit tighter on it, and we put some well, we used some of the Teflon tape originally, but I just needed this washer, so we're good now. I need to mess around with the screw right here, back this out, turn this down a little bit, and then see that come up. So when we start that up, we can do that. I got my Honda on my laptop right there. So Skunk 2 Racing Honda. So this is my laptop for just my Honda. That's the only thing on this computer, and all my calibrations and all that kind of stuff. So this is the toolbox I got. I got that for an early Christmas present. It's nice. A little bit better than that one. That one's still junky, but I still got to go through it. But all of my sockets are good. My daughter got me that right there. Dad's garage, always open. Yep. So we need to start taking some of the things down, license plates, because they're back there. This is the Acura RSX that I had, the 2005 Acura RSX that I had. So this is the sticker for it. So I just put that up. Corey put that up for me the other night when we were going through my tools. I changed out the thing here too, the battery cable. So I changed out the battery cable right there. So I think we're gonna hook a switch here somewhere. I don't know where, but there's a switch you can hook up, and we can hook up the power cable to it and then hook it to there, so we can actually come in here, so we don't have to do that. We can just hit the switch and switch it off. And that might be a good place right down here. It's already got bolt holes right here for the 10mm to put in there. We might just put it down there and just be able to just go down there and just switch it on and switch it off, so we won't have any power, because it does sit a little bit. It sits for a few days, so we don't want it to be, the battery to be dead and all that kind of stuff. So that's what we're working on. We got the front bumper painted. So I gotta get we gotta get a new emblem for this, since the other side's broken on it. But yeah, I painted that bumper, and then the back bumper I painted that also. And we got the Honda in, so we're gonna be going to drive this today. I got the Honda on. You can see right there, RPM 0, ECT 0, so everything's on. It's not plugged in yet. And then my AF is 0.00 now. So now it is not reading 1 point something. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna check the fuel pressure, because I pushed that thing down now. So we're gonna see what the fuel pressure is when I kick this up. So we're gonna see what it's at after we give it some fuel. See what the fuel pressure is at. All right, so we bought this fuel rail. We put the 410cc RDX injectors on there. I wired them up. I put this little plastic thing over it for the wiring to make it look better, because it was all taped up. We had to take the plastic piece off right here, so we had to take this off of there. Let me just look here. All right, there you go. So I had to take this plastic piece off there, so it actually sets like this, and then it bolts up to the fuel rail, which this one doesn't have it. It only has those two little holes here. Okay, but look at this. Look at the fuel pressure gauge. Look at the plastic in there. When I try to go up to 40 PSI on this thing, it doesn't want to go past 20. It stops. You can see that the paper in there, or whatever it is creased right there, so it won't allow the needle to go up. So what we had to order was, we ordered this off of Amazon right here. So it comes with your different fittings right here. Comes with your different fittings for your different applications. So if you have a bigger fuel rail hole or whatever, you can do that. Comes with the Teflon tape, which I'm probably going to use the stuff that I have, because it's actually better. But look at this. Look at this gauge. It looks so much better. And the actual gauge can actually go up to 40 PSI. And there's your little thing right here. So we're going to have to take this one off. I probably could get a socket down there to get that one off right there without having to take the fuel rail off. We had to bolt it on there first, and then bolt this on here, because you can't get to that bolt right there, because you can't get to it without like a 10mm wrench or something, a small millimeter wrench. You can get to it, but look how nice that looks. So I got it hooked up to the fuel rail right there, fuel filter. I took it off of there because we were having some issues with it leaking. right at the fuel filter, right at the base of the fuel filter, right where it goes in, not the -6 lines, but right there. So I had to take it off so I could get to that nut down there, which is a 19 millimeter, and I had to tighten it up that way. So hopefully that's good and it doesn't leak anymore. I'm gonna have to put the bracket back on there and put that back on there, and then there's the 10 millimeter bolts. But I think this will look so much better. Look at that compared to that. Look at the difference. I think this is gonna look so much better, because I was adjusting this and I adjusted it all the way out and the car started bogging out because of the fuel pressure, too much fuel pressure, and the thing was only at 20 and it won't stay. It won't go past 20. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some stuff on here, put some Teflon tape on here, take this one off. I already got it drained, so I didn't turn over the key, so we shouldn't have any fuel in here, just a tiny bit, but not enough to spray out. So I wanted to do this before I actually check the pressure on it and everything, and to check and make sure that's not leaking. So I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna put this on. Let's see what it looks like. We got the fuel rail in there. We don't have the fuel pressure gauge. We took it off because we're gonna switch it to the side here. We got the 410cc injectors in. We had to change out the new -6 lines right there and right there, because the one from eBay sucked and it was fucking leaking. So there. We got the Honda hooked up right there. Okay, give me a start. See if we're good. See where we're at. Yeah, we're at -0.57 right now. Hold on a minute. Hey, shut it off. All right, so we got the fuel rail in here. We got everything done. It doesn't leak anymore. So if you buy this from Amazon, I would suggest that, especially if you have a B18C1 or a B series, is to get a 90-degree 1/8. I'll put the description in below that I bought this off of Amazon, and we ordered a new fuel pressure gauge. So I ordered this too. The other one is right over here, and the little tab came out of it right there, and then you can see that it bent when I went to go put it in there because of the thing like that, and you can see that the little rubber piece came out. So we ordered a new one off of Amazon, so I'll put the link in the description below for both those things. These are the 410 injectors, 410cc RDX injectors. We had to buy a new banjo fitting for it, so I bought this off of Amazon as well, so I'll put a link for this also. And then these are just -6 lines off of here. So the black ones that actually came with this, we used this part right here, but I changed the fitting because it was leaking from here, and then it was leaking from here because of that piece. Corey tried to put it in there, and you can see that it didn't go in there all the way. So, and don't use the washers that come with it, because I put the washers out there and it sprayed. So my suggestion is not to use the washers either on the top of the banjo bolt and on the bottom of the banjo bolt. Okay, so we got rid of the inline filter. You can see when we first had it on there, you can see that it's gone now. So I used the -6 lines right here, and I used an extension that went from the fuel rail to a -6. So you're able to hook this up without hooking that inline filter up, because having the inline filter here and then there, so you actually would have to get a fitting to fit off the main steel fuel line right down there to fit into the fuel filter to actually get rid of this. And you can actually run a fitting off that and run it to -6, and then you can run your inline filter either here, or you can run it before your fuel line. But that's what we ended up doing. So, and it was leaking here and it was leaking there, And then it was leaking from right there also. So that's why we had to do all that. But now we're good to go. So we got about 43 PSI fuel pressure. So we're gonna start it up. We'll show you that it has 40 PSI fuel pressure. There's the regulator. That's not leaking either, so that's a good thing. Came with the O-ring and everything. So that's just a few things. If you decide to get this, I'll put a link in the description below. But you're gonna have to buy a new fuel pressure regulator, or not regulator, but the fuel pressure gauge. You're gonna have to buy a 90. You're gonna have to get this piece, and then you're gonna have to get the banjo fitting for that in order for it not to leak. Maybe you'll have better luck than I did, but that's what we had to do. So we got that installed. So that's all good to go now. We got the wideband hooked up. So I actually ended up doing it to the D10 wire and the ELD, the electronic load detector. So I hooked that up there. And now we have air fuel ratio on the Hondata, so we can start data logging. All right, so we got the Hondata installed. We got the air fuel ratio installed, so that's working. We got the 410 RDX, 410 cc's RDX injectors put in. We got the fuel rail put in. We had to upgrade a couple parts because it was leaking, because it is from Amazon, but it's working good now. So I'll put a link in the description below for all the stuff that we bought extra for it, just in case you want to buy it. So if you like this video, please give us a big thumbs up. You can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and now Twitter. And we'll see you next time on JC Motor Garage.